I see restorative justice prior to this workshop as a peace building effort. And restorative justice is virtually part of what we've been doing at the agency. We do mediation, we do reconciliation, of course, we do uh, trauma healing, we do psychosocial support for hurting communities, and so on and so forth. However, the gap that have actually been making it very hard for us before now, is we have to swing to intra dialogues and the inter dialogues, intra trauma healing and inter trauma healing and trust building engagements, just to because of the continuous conflict of violence that have taken place. Every party is claiming victim, and so as such, you cannot particularly place your hand on who you should call a victim or an offender. So because of that, we have to be doing intra and inter, and then it's taking us a much more longer period to be able to get the necessary outcome as an integral part of community rehabilitation, particularly in managing post-conflict issues. And so we will continue to go deeper to see that we address issues of trauma in people, particularly parties that struggle with conflict across the length and breadth of Plateau. I see restorative justice. There's a model we call interest-based negotiation, where the interest, relationship, and the loss, we try to make sure that they are equal. People should see them with equal value. And so you shouldn't see the property more valuable than the relationship. And so you should value the relationship as well as the property or the losses you have incurred. So I think going forward, our stress should be more on the interest-based negotiation than the obvious dialogues that we conduct. So basically, what really traumatizes people the most, particularly in my work field, working with people who have suffered conflicts, is that punitive efforts that have been created, particularly sometimes by non-professionals. Security agencies are also creating it, that they just cut some certain amount and say, you must pay for causing this damage. And then counter attacks come after such punishments. And so we discovered that, I think from this engagement, restorative justice should be promoted, and it should be part of our key training for communities to embrace restorative justice instead of punitive measures, that they will just cut some certain amounts that sometimes they are not realistic to the destruction cost. And so this gives birth to more conflict, and then it's giving us much more work, and it's expanding the impact of the conflict on the people. It really gladdened my heart, particularly to prison service, for embracing restorative justice. I was wondering, what is the justice, the judiciary doing with restorative justice? I saw it as more of out-of-court local arrangement or settlements between offenders and the victims. But then looking at the law, and then also looking at the way people can locally negotiate things out of court is also very imperative. So this workshop has actually exposed me to seeing the value of the law in restorative justice. However, we have community-led structures that they have developed their local laws that help them in farming and herding. We have one we call Pocket Guide for Farming and Herding. And these are developed by our engagements. We develop it through our engagement with our communities, their inputs, and then we put it like a little bylaw that help them in herding and farming. So I feel the law is also very important, that even though they have their local way of resolving issues, but looking at the law as well is also guide, but not more of a punitive effort, but more of a restorative justice.
Before this workshop, I understood restorative justice to be an approach towards rectifying and handling conflicts between parties, be it a victim and an offender, and it's a mechanism for mediation so as to avoid escalation and probably incarceration. Following the workshop, I have been able to grow in understanding, being that the aim of restorative justice is to be applied as a pre-trial antidote, or a pre-trial tool that we can refer to resolve conflict cases, and is a very contextual concept which needs understanding and application in and the intricacy of application is very important and is a very big consideration. And restorative justice is something that I learned about, more like justice, revenge justice. I'm trying to remember the word, and more it's not more it's more of redemptive and restorative more than vindictive, so that we can be able to focus on the victim and not just the perpetrator, and also get aid and support, and just look out for the victim also. Going forward, uh, in applying this to my organization, uh, I think there should be a framework, and by the grace of God, I hope to acquire the framework, so that I can step down at my organization and make sure that whenever there is conflict, or there is a victim offender circumstance, we make sure that we first of all resort to restorative justice before escalation and probably prosecution. The prison fellowship, uh, I thank so much for this opportunity, as I believe their role has been so important and so focal to bringing this concept to light, and bringing this approach to handling conflict to light. And it will have positive and huge ripple effect, hopefully by the grace of God, following our step downs and at our various levels, to make sure that we pass the message across and raise awareness. And again, thank you to the prison fellowship in Nigeria.
Honestly speaking, if there's any program that I've attended that is practical in nature, this is one of it. Because this program has actually opened our face, our eyes, to knowing more about this restorative justice. For quite some times, when you spend your time in all these the normal justice systems that we have, which has not been yielding much fruit, is time consuming, and it's also you spend a lot of finances that you have on the normal justice system. But coming up with the restorative justice system is something that, though new in the state, but I think it will go a long way in addressing so many things. And then it will cut down costs and also help the Plateau people to also move forward. From what we've learned today is the restorative justice is all-inclusive system of justice, whereby both the offender, both the victim, and other major stakeholders are involved. So when all these stakeholders come together, including the victim and the offender, there will be a win-win result, outcome out of it. So it's something that actually I will step it down to my own community, not only my own community. I will ensure that I join hands with the prison ministry or the organizers of this program, restorative justice, so that we do the needful, what is actually required of it, so that it gets to the grassroots. Everybody gets to understand what restorative justice is all about, and also how we can work together. The correctional center came and then told us that they are building more prisons. But I will tell you, with this system of justice system. I mean, those prisons that they are building will be an empty houses for them, because if we go by restorative justice, it's going to reduce the congestions in our prisons, and it will go a long way in ensuring that we have the win-win situation that I've just mentioned about. Very, 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 very comfortable. I think it's a plus to the prison fellowship. Let them